last couple of days this question's been coming up pretty often, and I think I never been talking about this one on camera here during this episode. But the question is, how did you open your dive center? Where the idea came from? And to be honest, I never, it's like we never had this, let's say when we moved to the Asia, we never had this ambition to open a dive center, just simply because I already had experience back home in Latvia. Of course, it was completely different concept of the dive center as it is in Asia, because in back home what we basically did, we just trained the divers and we brought them somewhere abroad. Let's say for example, there was this idea to visit all 7 underwater wonders around the world, and that's what I did. So that's why we went to Papua New Guinea, Palau, Belize, Egypt, Sudan, all these places which is in this list. But when we moved to the Asia, so then all this thing became completely different. People came to you to dive with you, and you lived in a location where is this amazing diving. And that was one of the reasons why I actually choose the Philippines, because I didn't believe that it's a good place for diving, and usually I heard that it's all bombed by the dynamite because they do dynamite fishing and that stuff, and that's why I didn't believe really that it's a good place for diving. But when 2009 I visited that place, then I understood it's the place I would like to stay longer and discover underwater and discover diving there. Basically, when we moved to the Philippines, we were not looking for the new business to do. We simply wanted to take a pause from everything, from all the businesses we've been doing back in home, and we just wanted to a little bit enjoy the life without any sitting on a phone and being nervous during the holidays because something goes wrong back home with your businesses. At the same time, in the Philippines, it was really comfortable place. I mean, the dive center we were working, it was really comfortable. Everything was like we like, because the owner and also the management had the same vision as us. Maybe sometimes it was a little bit different, but there was definitely some structure and there was clearly understandable rules we were following. And it was so comfortable to work, so we were focused only on our primary task, train people and make everything our guests leaving Philippines happy. But then I moved to the Bali, and where all the things is a little bit different. I mean, first of all, it's all this how the dive center is paying to the instructors. That was kind of absolutely different from what I got in the Philippines. I already did one episode about all earnings and expenses when living in Asia and working as a diving instructor. These things you can watch here in the corner. So I understood that I'm even working harder than in the Philippines, but my income is absolutely the same. And that was and the same thing. I was already grow up a little bit, and I wanted to have a dive center where I can be like at home, where I can also leave some influence on the things. I wanted to have something where I can realize more all my ideas, where I can make all these ideas work. And that's why I decided to open a dive center. Final touch came actually from one of my friends. He said, Martin, you already grow up and you already are above maybe that level when someone is telling you what to do. You already have these ideas, and usually you cannot realize them, that just because the vision of the owners of the dive center is a little bit different than yours. Actually, the decision didn't come easy. I clearly understood what is expenses of opening businesses. I understood what is expenses to make all these businesses work. I understood how my responsibilities will change, and then I will not be able only to teach students and enjoying their life. So that I will be responsible also about the staff and the quality of whole dive center, not only my personal courses and my personal activities. But we really wanted to move on, and I talked to Laura, and Laura said, okay, let's do it. And so yeah, finally we did it, and I do not really regret. It's a little bit sad that when we started to reach really some results on getting out on zeros and all this pandemic happens, but I think it's just a part of our lives, and it's giving us some new ideas and also new targets and goals in our lives, and simply helping us to move on. There is this cashews blooming, and all the way up to Lahangan Suite there was this smell in the air. Amazing. The last couple of times I came from another side, I didn't come in through the central entrance. I went in from another side where I'm hiking from. If someone thinks that it's easy to open a dive center, first of all, I would like to say it's not easy. One of the things why I actually opened the dive center, even I've been thinking about pretty long time since I arrived in Bali, because in Bali it's actually, or in Indonesia, it's easier to open the 100% international companies than in the Philippines. In the Philippines you have the shares, and I think the only way to open the 100% company in the Philippines is all connected with a transit. Well, here in Indonesia you can open 100% foreign company. The only difference is that if you have the shared company, like local, 60% local and 40% foreigner, so that's basically what all the foreigners doing. They're making these contracts where there's no any rights for the local, but you know, the law is law. And if something goes wrong, then I think you are in a deep, I will not say what, but I have 100%. I don't have any nominees. They're calling that nominees. It means the nominee is a local, who's also part of the ownership of all this company. What is the disadvantages of this company is that you have to pay higher taxes. But at the same time also they're giving you 2 years to develop your company, and only then you start paying taxes. So basically that's what we started doing last year. And so yeah, that was actually a reason we opened a dive center. When you're an instructor, you are really affected by the seasons. Like for example, when we were working in the Philippines, 6 months we were working hard, and then another 6 months we were actually spending all the savings we got during this high season, just simply because another 6 months is a low season, not so many courses coming in. You actually are happy if you can partially cover all your expenses, daily expenses, monthly expenses. Lahangan Suite is sweet as always. Even we don't have any really sunset. I don't believe there will be some, but you can see the tip of the Agong there above the clouds. It would be just amazing to be there again. I'm pretty sure I will go soon again. On the other side there is moon rising, and it becomes really big. I will go a little bit later there again. So yeah, thank you for listening me today again. Follow, subscribe, and see you tomorrow again. Bye. Last sun rays behind Agung, and I am going back home. No using torches, just simply knowing the trail.